Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking what I can only describe as a true masterclass in digital longevity, the Ethical Creator's Playbook. If you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by that pressure to just go viral overnight, well, you're going to want to pay close attention. We are breaking down the incredibly grounded, hard-earned advice of a veteran Nepali creator. This is a guy who has literally seen it all, lost it all, and managed to rebuild a sustainable, deeply meaningful online presence totally from the ground up.
Okay, let's dive right into this. And I want to start with a story that, honestly, perfectly sets the tone for everything we're about to talk about. Quote, "I wanted to pick this mango for pickle, but it's too young. My heart didn't let me pick it." Our creator actually shared this exact thought while walking through an orchard. You know, it's such a simple, beautiful metaphor. In a digital world where absolutely everyone is trying to pluck the fruit of success way before it's ripe, chasing those shortcuts and cheap clicks, he actively chose to leave the unripe mango right there on the tree. It's a powerful lesson in patience and, frankly, ethics in content creation.
Which naturally leads us to a really crucial question. What makes a channel truly successful? Because think about it, if we aren't out there pulling unripe fruit from the tree, how do we actually cultivate a harvest that lasts? How do you build a social media legacy? A channel that actually means something to people, without relying on cheap shortcuts, stolen clips, or clickbait? To figure that out, we've mapped out a structured roadmap for this explainer. We're going to hit 4 main areas today. 1. Finding your unique niche. 2. What never to post. 3. Content that actually wins. And 4. The long-term success strategy. All right, let's jump straight into part 1. Finding your unique niche and focusing on authentic content. The core message here is really about discovering what you are genuinely good at, instead of just copying someone else who happened to monetize quickly. Look, you absolutely do not need fancy makeup, expensive clothes, or some high-end studio setup. Think about authentic, everyday niches. We're talking about cooking meals, sweeping and cleaning, construction, mechanics, feeding livestock like goats or buffaloes, or literally just working out in the fields. The creator emphasizes that you should just be yourself. Whatever your daily reality actually is, that is your niche. You don't have to reinvent yourself at all. You just need to document your authentic skills. And this perfectly captures the immense power of legacy content. Showcasing traditional tools, like the deki, which is a traditional rice pounder, or a jato, a grinding stone, might just seem like a mundane daily chore to you. But to younger generations or folks living in completely modernized cities, seeing a deki or jato in action is almost like witnessing a mystery, or seeing a literal piece of history come back to life. It feels like a dream to them. Sharing these deeply authentic cultural moments makes your content incredibly valuable and totally unique. Moving right along to section 2, what never to post, and the mistakes you absolutely have to avoid. Guys, this is a crucial warning. Running afoul of platform rules can and will instantly destroy years of your hard work. The absolute quickest way to get banned across platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube is crossing into these strictly restricted areas. We're talking stolen videos or TV clips, using copyrighted music without permission, depicting violence or cruelty, spreading fake news, promoting scams, buying fake likes, or violating someone's privacy. The creator warns that violating these community guidelines won't just get a single video taken down, it is going to get your accounts wiped out simultaneously across all platforms. The whole shebang. It's simply not worth the risk. And this brilliantly illustrates the exact mindset shift you really need to make. Chasing disaster clout, like, running out to film a landslide or a tragic car accident just to grab some cheap viral views, is not only a massive policy violation, but it's also just highly unethical. Contrast that with providing clear, original, educational value. Instead of exploiting a bad situation, why not teach someone a real skill, like how to properly paint a wall or fix a broken tool? One strategy builds a hollow spike in views, while the other builds a deeply loyal, long-term community.
Okay, let's get to the fun stuff. Section 3, content that actually wins and how to build real trust.
So what specific types of content actually build that kind of long-term trust? Well, the cornerstone is always going to be your original voice and presentation. But I want you to notice the emphasis on precise tutorials. The veteran creator advises that if you're making, say, a cooking video, don't just tell people to add spices. Tell the viewer exactly how much salt to use, the exact amount of turmeric, and literally exactly how many minutes it takes to cook. People crave that highly specific, helpful information. Alongside that, content focused on agriculture and farming, inspiring real stories, and tech and mobile tips consistently thrive, simply because they provide immediate, actionable value to the viewer.
But to deliver that value effectively, you need a real system, specifically a rock-solid daily routine. Step 1. Get a post up in the morning, around 6 a.m. or maybe 10 to 11 a.m. Step 2, follow that up with an afternoon post right between 12 and 1 p.m. And Step 3, an evening post around 6 to 7 p.m. But crucially, this evening slot is when you engage. The creator highly recommends starting out with shorts to build up some momentum, and then consistently, reliably replying to comments. This signals to your audience that you are an active friend. When viewers see you responding warmly, they realize, hey, we're building a real community here. You're not just broadcasting into the void.
Which brings us right to our final chapter, Section 4, the long-term success strategy, focusing on endurance and mindset.
Honestly, surviving the long game in content creation requires some serious psychological endurance. You really have to understand how this timeline scales. In the early days, you start out with short, simple clips. Over the coming months, you start to build that consistent daily routine we literally just talked about. But when you zoom out and scale that into years, the creator uses this incredibly beautiful metaphor. Growing a successful channel is exactly like raising a small child. It takes immense, continuous, hard work. You have to nurture it over 1, 2, 5, or even 10 solid years. You wouldn't rush a child's growth, and you absolutely cannot force a channel's authentic growth either. It requires unwavering patience. Now, what's really interesting about the number 25, what does that actually represent? Well, since 2017, this veteran creator has endured losing roughly 25 different channels. I just want you to think about that for a second. 25 times things went entirely wrong, channels completely disappeared, or huge mistakes were made. Yet, he never gave up, no way. He just kept rebuilding, applying exactly what he learned, and persisting. It proves that failure is not the end of your creator journey. It's honestly just part of the tuition you have to pay for long-term mastery. Persistence is the ultimate key here.
So, as we wrap up this explainer today, I want you to really truly think about this. Are you chasing a cheap viral thrill, or are you patiently raising a legacy? Remember that unripe mango we talked about at the very beginning of all this? You always have the choice to snatch its success before it's actually ready, or you can commit to the hard, ethical, consistent work to let it grow into something deeply meaningful. I really hope this playbook inspires you to start building your own unique path with a ton of patience and authenticity. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.